What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks. Presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, going over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Daniel, all the greats. Plus, you get access to a nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we project for each individual batter, pitcher, whatever it is, receiver, quarterback. Plus, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. Just go on over to scoresandodds.com/action or Discord and get on in there. Just threw that into chat. Trying to deal with so many different fires. Going, have to send this. Why I want to do this? There we go. All right, now back to things. Yeah, got a bunch of bets, bunch of football bets, bunch of baseball bets, bunch of everything. See everything here. Bets I made early on the week. The line may or may not have moved at this point. But don't worry, we're getting new bets every single day. We're just going to start off with the baseball bets here. Drew Smiley over 4.5 strikeouts, minus 146 over at Caesars. I know it's a pretty heavy amount of juice to pay. I get that, but I don't really care. Smiley, pretty massive reverse splits when it comes to strikeouts, sitting at 22% going up against righties, just 11% going up against lefties. They're likely to platoon out most of their bats. Probably going to face two lefties in the lineup in Crawford and Gonzalez. And they have high strikeout bats with a lot of power, strangely enough. But Bart, Davis, VR, all of them. Well, Lundell Moore probably won't play. Great. Yeah, just all the guys. So while he does give up a lot of power, while he's not great versus righties, he does get a lot more strikeouts. 4.5. Just too low of a line. James Kaprelian, over 3.5 strikeouts, minus 108 over at FanDuel. That line's already moved 20 points. So hopefully you got that in earlier on in the day. Dane Dunning, you can actually get this line at plus 100 over at Superbook. Yeah, the line moved, I think, a little bit after what's it called? Said the roof was going to be open. Going up against Toronto, while it's a very tough matchup, Dunning may get destroyed here. Big difference in strikeouts going up against righties than going up against lefties. Likely only be facing 1 to 2 lefties in the lineup here. The rest of them are going to be righties. So it's a spot where 22% K rate going up against righties. He can end up with a pretty big outing here. I like that line quite a bit. 3.5, but again, I think it's at plus 100. Let's see what's at on other sites. Let's see how much it's moved. Still, so Superbook is the only place where it's at plus 1. Oh, there we go. Now it's at minus 108. I might end up hitting that again. Yeah, which would have known the dome was going to be open, but 108, I still like it. Daniel Lynch, over 15.5 outs recorded. Has not been hitting this at a huge clip. I think he has 2 over the last 4. He's gone over 5 innings here. But gets a matchup versus Detroit. Detroit, bad team overall. While they're much worse going up against righties than they are going up against lefties. Lynch has a little bit of reverse splits. Definitely struggles way more with walks going up against lefties. So pitch count going to be a little bit lower. Should go later on into the game. Lance McCullers, over 1.5 earned runs. Minus 152 over at Caesars. Again, a lot of big juice lines here, but I don't care. Really simply, he's due for some massive negative regression. Sitting at 14.9% walk rate on the season. He's not as good as his 2 ERA would suggest. He's got an xFIP around 4.5 with massive walk rate going up against a fairly patient team. I mean, you see Ohtani, Trout, Ward, Ford, Stassi, all with high walk rates. Yes, he might end up with a bunch of strikeouts, but more than likely he's going to give up a few earned runs here. 1.5 is just a bad line. Home run bets. Juan Soto to hit a home run plus 575. Going up against, I can't remember his name. Why am I blanking? Throws heat. Can't remember his name. May. Oh, I didn't want to say White. May. Had 2 good starts going up against the Marlins. Bad start, I think it was against the Padres last time. Guy that historically has given up a decent amount of home runs. Soto, guy that does not strike out at a big clip. May, while he's getting a decent amount of ground balls to both sides of the plate, still a guy that gives up a bunch of hard contact. Soto has a bunch of pop. 575 over at Barstool, just a bad line. Max Muncy plus 400 in that same game going up against Clevenger. Clevenger been very bad versus lefties. 44.6% fly ball rate, 41.7% hard contact rate. He's struggled. He's struggled a bunch. He's struggled a bunch recently. It's not the same pitcher he was before he had surgery. Doesn't have the strikeout stuff and giving up boatloads of hard contact and fly balls to lefties. Muncy, been great the last 2 games, sitting at 3 home runs over the last 2 games. There's a great line at plus 400. Last one for home runs. One of my favorites, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, plus 560 over at FanDuel. Cal Raleigh, been great this season in terms of hitting for power. Massive fly ball rate, sitting at, 56%? 53%. Going up against righties. Morton has struggled with lefties, specifically struggled with lefty power. 40% fly ball rate, 36.8% hard contact rate. Cal Raleigh, big dumper, hits the ball hard. It's that simple. Plus 560 is just a bad overall line. Got some new football bets. Derek Carr over 265.5 passing yards. Let's see if this one's changed. Bet 365. If you have that in your state, go hammer it. I'm pretty sure it's still minus 110 there. Come on. Passing yards. Carr. Sitting at minus 115 over at MGM still. Still like it at that line. So if you don't have bet 365, you probably have MGM. Gets Davante Adams, was already a guy averaging a massive amount of passing yards per game last season. I spelled his name. I spelled it like Derrick Henry. Classic me. Pulling up his stats right now. Derek Carr. Last season. Stats. There we go. Yeah, last season, 4,800 yards. So just fantastic. Game log. Looking at 2021. I do not want to subscribe to NFL Network. Stop asking me to. Why isn't it showing up? No, it's just showing preseason. Whatever. Hit it at a pretty substantial clip. Adding the best potentially the best wide receiver in the league in Davante Adams. Now Waller's healthy. He had 4,800 yards, and Waller barely played half the games. Henry Ruggs went to prison. We don't know what happened there. Injuries all over the place, missing players, and yet he still put up 2,800 yards. Now he has the best wide receiver in the league. Has Renfro, has Waller, has Adams. That's just too low of a number there. Marcus Mariota, over 26.5 passing attempts. It's just a low number. It's a super low number. I know it's not an easy matchup going up against the Saints, but even at minus 133 odds over at DK, Mariota is, I have him projected for over 30 here. Game script likely for him to be down for most of the game. Yes, they're going to try and run the ball a decent amount, but he's going to pass. He's going to be short to intermediate passes. I already have the under on him in terms of longest pass completion. So it's going to be a lot of short passes here going up against the Saints. 26.5 passing attempts is way too low, hammered over at DK. Bryce Hall, I know that I think Michael Carter is the starter in name, number one on the depth chart name, but 31.5 rushing yards. I wonder what we have projected for him. I really like the over. Yeah, we have him projected for 50 rushing yards. Hall sitting at minus 115 at DK is just silly. Hammering. Joe Burrow, 5.5 rushing yards. I don't understand this at all. And we're getting minus 110 juice. It's just a silly number. Joe Burrow had some legs. Looking at his game log here, didn't run too much at the beginning of the season because he was covering from that ACL. 11, 20, 0, 11, 8, 6, 25, 11, 10, 5, 25. He's got some legs. 5.5 is too low of a number here. I have him projected close to 10. Yeah. Have a 100% profit boost. Bill Thomas here. I have a 100% top profit boost on the Louisville and Central Florida, aka fighting Shavelson's game tonight. Any bets from that game? I got nothing. I don't deal with college football much, but your guess is as good as mine. I don't know if we have any picks out there on scores and odds for that game, but I'd check that out. Other people know better than me. Last bet, Marquez Valdez Scantling under 3.5 receptions, minus 110 over at Superbook. Bad line. Playing for a new team. Still has, not looking at receptions. Marquez. Oh, Dez. Yeah. We have him projected at 3.15. It's bad line. Take the under. Hammer the under. If you have Superbook in your state, max it out. If not, MGM is sitting at minus 115. Still a solid line. And that's it. That's my bets. Yeah. All these. Posting most of them to the Action Network. So if you want to check out how they did, what I bet. A lot of my football ones, at least this week, maybe next week, maybe the week after, who knows? We'll see. Are going to be posted to the Action Network. Crushed yesterday. 6-1 on football bets. Up a decent amount of money this month so far. Let's see. Yeah, up 3K on just however much this is. Up 3K off of like 13K in bets, 12K in bets. Crushing it. Get in on it. Bet it. And use that money to sign up for scores and odds. We're out of here. Thank you.